Welcome to Discovering. Michigan's bear season began on September 10th this year and runs through October 26th for the second and third hunt periods. On average, about 2,000 bears are harvested in the state of Michigan, and so far this year, it seems like hunters have had some pretty good success in the woods, and I've seen some photos of some really nice bears taken. 2025 marks 100 years of regulated bear hunting in the state of Michigan, and this year a record number of hunters, 72,872 to be exact, applied for either a license or a preference point towards a future hunt. The state drawing for licenses is based on a point system, and this year, 6,278 hunters received a Michigan bear license, just 21% of people who applied for an actual license. And tonight I have two of those bear hunts to share with you.
The thinking was to get a bearskin for my brother, who was an officer in the Irish Guards.
Even if I don't get anything, I would never be able to even just get out there where I have the opportunity if it weren't for Camp Josh.
So sit back and relax. It's Monday night, and it's time for Upper Michigan's very own Discovering.
The secret streams that flow beneath the cliffs of colored stone. Forests thick and healthy with birch and pine and oak. Surrounded by the greatest lakes this world has ever known. The black bear's awesome presence as he roams the hills and fields. Call of the timber wolf, the loon's lonesome trill. The eagle soaring high above, the trout lies deep and still. These are what I treasure, the only way I measure feelings that I have for this fine land. There is so much to discover when you're a long-time lover of northern Michigan.
British presence in the Upper Peninsula began during the fur trade years around 1763 after their victory over the French, who were the first fur traders in this region. Bear hides and beaver pelts were a commodity that were collected and returned to England. This fall, a Brit, James Maunder Taylor, returned 262 years later to Michigan's UP to hunt a black bear to bring back home to England.
James Maunder Taylor. I'm from the UK. I live in Northamptonshire, which is 100 miles north of London. There are 6 species of deer that we can hunt, of which there are four that are wild near me. There's a lot of duck shooting near me, but no bears. So obviously Michigan is quite special for that, which is why I'm up here in the Upper Peninsula. Why the black bear appeals, or why I got around to wanting to hunt a black bear. I have a younger brother who's 10 years my junior, who served in the British Army in the Irish Guards. He had a tour in Afghanistan and one in Iraq. And at times he had to go on ceremonial duty.
Part of the Guards' uniform for ceremonial duty is the famous bearskin hat.
In days gone by, it would have been worn in battle. So the Guards regiments would have worn the bearskin in the Crimean War. But now it is just for ceremonial duties, so when they're outside Windsor Castle, Buckingham Palace, or trooping of the colour. And I just thought it'd be quite neat to actually, now that he's left the army, get his own bearskin. The bearskins are still made in the UK, and one can make them privately. So the thinking was to get a bearskin for my brother, who was an officer in the Irish Guards. So he would have a slightly larger bearskin. An officer's bearskin stands at 18 inches tall, whereas other ranks it would be just 13 inches. The idea being that the officer appears more imposing. Interestingly though, it doesn't have to be or need to be a particularly big bear. It's all about having a hairy bear. So, but I think as Brad Johnson's explained, when you're looking through the telescopic sight, don't start worrying about the length of the hair. If it's a shooter, shoot it, please. So very kindly, Brad Johnson's going to be looking after me, and we're on private land. and we'll have to sort of cross our fingers and see what happens.
James is hunting at Brad Johnson's bear camp, which was set up by Al Stewart, retired DNR upland game bird specialist.
So I've known Al for many, many years. As you can tell, we're both white-haired, grey-haired gentlemen.
I wasn't able to sit with James during his hunt, but I left a GoPro with the crew, and I was excited to hear that James shot a bear the first night.
It's been quite an eventful evening. Yeah, and a very long morning too, but no, it was very successful. There were 6 hunters out with Brad Johnson last night. I was lucky enough to be one of them. There were 3 children shooting, which was great. There was one young girl that got her first bear.
It came in at around 7:45, and I took a good shot at it, and it dropped. Oh yeah, way bigger than my brother's, of course.
Of the 6 guys hunting, 4 came back with bears, and that included me too. So I wasn't expecting to get one on my first day, but it was fantastic, really. 3 bears came in the end. The first bear was quite a small one. It couldn't push over the bait drum. I think became rather frustrated and in the end disappeared. And then probably about half an hour later, a slightly larger bear came. But that bear was quite nervous, so I wasn't sure whether it had winded me or what was happening. And it later transpired it's because there was a bigger bear in the area. So it came in and knocked the drum over. And just as I was lifting the rifle, because I thought, well, this is probably one to shoot, it took off. So I thought, oh dear, I've messed that up. I don't know what I'm going to say to Brad about that. But then probably half an hour later it came back. But for a long time I could see it was sat in the trees. You could see its head just looking at me, at the drum. So clearly nervous. And then it came straight to the bait drum. And I thought, right, well now I'm going to have to sort of have a quick shot, because clearly it's nervous either because of me or something else, and I didn't want to risk it running off again. So silly me rushed my shot. So that was one educated bear, as I think my round passed over the top of the bear, and it took off as an educated bear. So bear missed, and I thought, oh no, I'm in big trouble now with Brad. Yes, the adrenaline gets going and you sort of start shaking a bit. So that's another excuse as to why I missed as well. So I was sat in the high seat in the tree stand, licking my wound, so to speak. But then probably, we think it would have been about 8 o'clock. Another bear came in, a slightly larger bear. It looked slightly larger, it turned out to be a lot larger. It came straight to the bait drum. I think I'd calmed down by then, and sort of fired one shot and clearly hit it well. It ran off, and then I heard I think it's called a death bellow or death ball.
In the heat of the moment, James forgot to turn the GoPro back on, but they did get the recovery on camera, and it was a quick 25-yard track.
James, you got a good one. Really? You got a good one.
Holy smokes.
Holy smoke. That's a big bear.
Yeah, that's a big
Oh,
bear.
that's a big bear. Congratulations. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, Al. Thanks, Brad.
You're more than welcome.
That's quite the bear.
Yeah, but look what your rounds do.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you said they were pretty good. For
That's a bear route.
yeah.
Getting this big bear out of the woods was a challenge.
1, 2, 3.
Communication problem about a jet sled, which helps a lot. We thought one was in the truck and it wasn't, so we didn't have a lot of equipment to help load the thing.
You do it the old-fashioned way. You just drag them out. Yeah.
Fills up the whole back of that pickup.
That's impressive.
But what was surprising, which surprised Brad, it was a very large sow that came in at 335 pounds.
They had strict instructions on how to skin the bear for the hat.
They were really strict, and you probably haven't had those kind of instructions before. It comes with a diagram with verbiage and cut here, here, and here. This is what we need. And so, yeah, it's all planned out.
Al is taking the hide downstate to be tanned, and then it will be shipped to James, where he will have the bearskin hat made. The bear meat has to stay here in the U.S.
Sadly, I can't take the bear meat home. UK Customs might have something to say about that. But Al Stewart will be taking it, so nothing will be wasted. But no, it was a fantastic experience, and it's a lovely bear that will eventually be making its way back to England.
James mentioned his daughters really enjoy hunting, so I think they all need to return to the Upper Peninsula for a future hunt. For some hunters, getting deep into the woods to pursue black bears is more challenging. Some might say impossible, but nothing is impossible. Because that's where organizations like Camp Josh in Ontonagon County come into the picture.
Camp Josh is for disabled individuals, veterans. We like to help them get into the outdoors. We have the trout pond at the camp where we have people come and fish.
Camp Josh recently celebrated their 25th anniversary of making the outdoors accessible to everyone. This bear season, I had the pleasure of sitting with Camp Josh hunter Daryl Antcliffe of Elk Rapids, Michigan.
I said this morning, I was like, even if I don't get anything, I would never be able to even just get out there where I have the opportunity if it weren't for Camp Josh, man. I just, and now I'm like, I got some new buddies, especially to pick on about the Packers.
Absolutely.
So, go Lions.
Daryl is a T4 paraplegic. A car accident left him with a spinal cord injury that paralyzed him from the middle of the back down. This is Daryl's first time black bear hunting, and he wanted it to be a real hunt.
I called him. I said, I don't want to hunt like at Deer Park Funland or somewhere where they're all fenced in or anything like that. Is this an actual camp where it's the real thing, And he said, oh, absolutely. It's just a regular camp, and it's just made accessible so you can stay, and plus it has the trout pond out there. And so I read up on it and everything they do for the veterans and at-risk kids and handicapped kids, and I'm like, I'm on board,
Camp Josh features a beautiful log cabin that is wheelchair accessible where Daryl and his family can stay.
So my wife and I came up 3 weeks before just to check it out. Got to get the blessing from the missus that she's okay with me leaving, and which she was. Her name's Maggie. And so then they had me apply for a bear tag just to see if I'd get one. And then I didn't get one, of course, first time. But then they always said they get one donated, and sure enough, we did get one donated. So then I talked to the DNR, and they transferred if you have a handicap or a illness, and it all worked out. So here I am hoping something, I would say something good happens, but it's already happened. I'm here, and now I'm getting a little emotional. I really am. It's just cool that I'm doing this. I don't have no idea why I don't cry very much, but it's just cool to have good friends. I got injured in 1987 in a car accident coming from deer hunting, and never thought this day would happen. So it's just great. Can't believe I'm crying. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. You're going to make me cry too.
It's just cool. I mean, I got a great life, but this is just frosting on the cake, Can't pass it up. I keep saying, like I'm from the UP, and I'm not. I'm ready. Okay, go.
It took a few sets of volunteer hands to help Daryl in and out of the side-by-side that took him out to the 88 accessible blind.
The blind is from Whitetails Unlimited in Ewan. They've allowed us to use this for a couple years now.
Daryl brought along his future son-in-law to help.
Sitting with us tonight is my future son-in-law, putting the pressure on him, named Johnny. Took some time off work just to sit with me, so it's exciting.
The Camp Josh crew brought us out to the blind around 2 p.m., hours before the bears typically show up, to let things settle down in the woods after the commotion of getting us all set up.
This is spacious. What's this? What is that? You trying to jinx me? Oh my gosh.
Love it.
Put that
I deserve this. I do. Won't this scare the bear away?
Absolutely not.
Probably not. You're right. The bear won't scare a bear away.
We've had 4 bears, different bear coming in. There's 2 smaller ones. One has a nice V, white V on his chest. And then there are 2 larger bears coming in. I'm guessing around 200. But those 2 hang out together, and they'll be both sitting in there eating at the same time.
The few that they've seen come in, it's about 8 o'clock. So they taught me where to shoot. They actually helped me sight my gun in. I thought it was pretty close, but when I was there 3 weeks ago, they have just incredible facilities at Camp Josh to sit and sight your gun in. So we did that.
The gun resting on Daryl's lap has a special significance to him.
At Remington 270, it's a older gun with a scope, and it's a pump. The story behind that is my dad, Denny Miller, was an avid outdoorsman, and he passed away a couple years ago. And the short story behind it is I never met him till about 3 years ago. And then when I got to meet him, he said I always wanted to hunt with my son. So in my late 50s, him and I got to go hunting. And then before he passed, he gave me that gun. So I'll probably, if I get one with that gun, it'll be pretty special.
The temperature climbed into the high 80s that afternoon, and the bear blind was a sauna. But we toughed it out. Daryl has all week to hunt, so if the bears don't show up tonight, we will try again tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after that.
The one thing they told me was, you will not hear the bear come in with the pads on their feet. It's just going to all of a sudden be there.
At 7:34, one of the bears stepped out early. And Daryl was quick to get his 270 out the window, waiting for the right moment.
I hit him. Did you see that? I saw him, jerk from the impact. He went to the right. Now, if he'd have been running like crazy through the woods, but for, several, 10 seconds, that brush was moving around like he was in there thrashing.
How you feeling?
I'll feel a lot better when I know the bear's there and it's, dead, and I can celebrate at that point. Hey, I'm gonna call the guys from Camp Josh so they can get out here and give me a tranquilizer, calm me down.
After retelling the hunt, it was a quick track, and the guys located the bear, which ran less than 50 yards.
I just am grateful to Camp Josh. I keep saying it. I was grateful just to be sitting here with the opportunity.
The guys got the bear to Northwoods Meat Processing in Greenland, who was on call for Camp Josh, and Daryl selected the cuts and burger he wanted. It's volunteers like those at Camp Josh who dedicate their time and energy to help others enjoy all the outdoors has to offer that makes the UP a special place to live. Thank you for what you do, and a huge congrats to Daryl on your first Michigan black bear. Daryl sent me these photos, and he's grateful to be able to provide this delicious meal to his family of bear tenderloins and lake trout, which he also caught at Stannard Rock. And I want to give a big shout out to 11-year-old Ronald Koski of Rock, who shot this awesome 12-point buck during the youth hunt last month. That is a dandy buck. Congratulations, Ronald. Your very proud dad sent me the photos. That's all for tonight, and I hope to see you right back here next week for Upper Michigan's very own Discovering.